Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Kateryna and I started an art academy at 30. I opened this channel to document my journey. I started drawing from zero and I started my artistic path at the academy. So here I document all the breakthroughs I have, the achievements, and all the lessons I learned, of course. This vlog is gonna be about my January and I really hope you enjoy it. In fact, from this year, I'm not gonna document my artistic journey, let's say, every week as I used to do last year, because obviously, compared to the beginning, not everything is a novelty anymore, right? So my progress, my path is more repetitive, and I don't want to bore you with that. So I will still document my journey once a month. I have other contents in mind. So let's start talking about how my January went. So first of all, I went back to school in January after a couple of months break. A couple of months where I traveled a little bit because I had the chance to go to Paris with my best friend. I went to see lots of beautiful exhibitions, for example, Sargent's one in Musée d'Orsay or Jacques-Louis David one in Louvre. Also, I went to Madrid with my boyfriend. It was an amazing trip. I had the chance to see all the museums there, like Prado, like Thyssen. They were amazing. I wish I could see more, but for example, Museo Sorolla, which I really wanted to see, was closed. So I guess that's a good excuse to go back. On the artistic side, however, I haven't been that productive, not as much as I wished I would have been. On that side, let's say the most productive thing that I did was a master copy of Jacques-Louis David. I was so inspired by that exhibition, and I did a little frame of Marat's death. So I just took the face and I tried to reproduce it. Actually, I think one of my next videos is gonna be about that because I recorded the whole process, so let me know if you're interested in that, so I will post it. Let's get to my January because, as I said, in January I finally went back to the academy, and I went back to the academy as a part-time student. In fact, before January, I was a full-time student at the academy, so I used to go every day for the whole day. Well, right now, from this year, I'm gonna go for just part of the day, either in the morning or in the afternoon, from Monday until Thursday. It's something that I still need to get used to because I think I'm struggling a bit to find my routine, and I don't know if it's better for me to go in the morning or in the afternoon to keep my routine productive. Because I would say that in January, I went mostly during the afternoons, but I realized that during the mornings I wasn't as productive as I wanted to. I think I need to change something in this, or otherwise try to find ways to be way more focused during my mornings, because you know, my plan, if you've seen my last video about my goals for 2026, was to paint a lot at home in the morning and then go to the academy and paint at the academy as well, and so on. Well, I have done nothing. I haven't painted at home, and I'm kind of disappointed about that. I guess it's a lesson learned. Also, January was kind of a weird month because I went back to the academy on the 12th of January, if I'm not wrong, so I just had half of the month to get used to everything. I'm very motivated for February, and I hope that the next update I'm gonna be like, yay, I've been super productive, so let's see. What about the academy? So I took a bit of notes to make sure I don't forget to tell you everything. So at the academy also, I haven't felt that productive. You know, by going as a full-time student, I felt like I was always on top of everything. I knew everything we were doing at the academy and so on. But being a part-time student, I still need to get used to it because the structures of the lessons, how everything goes on at the academy shouldn't impact on that, because in any case, at the academy, we have 2 weeks with model, 2 weeks without model. In those 2 weeks with the model has one pose in the morning and then it changes the pose in the afternoon. So in any case, if I go every afternoon, it shouldn't impact me. It would only impact the number, the amount of drawings that I would do, but it shouldn't break my routine. But let's say I still need to get my mindset used to this kind of routine. So January was like, I felt like I started a lot of things, but I haven't finished many. When I went back to the academy, I actually started the first few days by drawing a skull. And going back to drawing after a couple of months where I haven't been that consistent was really, really hard. I kind of felt lost. I forgot all the hatching that I learned recently, and I was so proud of it. So it was a bit of a shock at the beginning, but with the time I kind of got used to it a little bit more. After 3 or 4 days spent on drawing the skull, I also went back to working on the big collaborative project on the cartoon. If you remember, in October I had already drawn a figure in that cartoon, which was also my favorite figure, which is the crazy guy, let's say. While I have started another figure, but also that I haven't finished it. So I still need to keep working on that, and I think by the beginning of February that will be done. What else? We had 2 weeks with the model, but the fact was that I started a couple of drawings in the first couple of days because I had a few days to recover, so I went both in the morning and in the afternoon, and I started the 2 poses and started them so big. Like, one was huge and I wanted to experiment a little bit with the format, with material, because I started doing it in charcoal. The second one, I did it in graphite. I still experimented a little bit with the size because that is still my biggest drawing so far in graphite. But the fact was that after the first few days with the model, we changed the model. So the poses changed, the model changed, and those drawings were left unfinished. We changed the model, the pose changed, I started going back only in the afternoon, so I have one drawing of that pose, and that is a laying pose. And that, I must say, was the most difficult pose I've ever drawn. And that was because the model was laying actually, and I drew him from the front. So it was a big foreshortening, and it's something I'm very not used to. I struggled a lot with the structure of that drawing. It took me a couple of days just to start well that drawing, because actually after the first day I gave up on what I've done and I restarted it, because when the foreshortening is so strong you tend to smallen the drawing a lot, and that's what happened with the other students as well. So we all did this super small drawing and I restarted it because I wanted to make it bigger. I restarted it bigger, but at the end the drawing still came out very small. I don't know if I'm super proud about that drawing. For sure it taught me a lot of things. For example, the fact that I should practice more on foreshortening from life, because I think it's way different from picture, because in pictures you have so many things solved and your point of view never changes, the pose doesn't move and so on. So from life it's very difficult. It was very challenging, but I can say that I made it, so that is a good achievement. Normally I would paint on that drawing because, as you remember from my September, let's say, I used to draw for a few days and then I used to paint that pose. But the fact is that the drawing is so small that I don't think I want to paint on it. So what I did was recovering the drawing from the first model, and since I had the picture of him, because sometimes we're allowed to take pictures of the model, and I finished that drawing. Finished and not finished, because maybe you see in the video I used a toned paper, but the mid-tones aren't coming out as I wish. I believe and I feel I haven't put enough hatching on it, although I don't know if that's just my impression or not, because it feels finished but at the same time it doesn't. I don't know how to explain. Maybe if you're an artist you also understand me. So that was a little bit of a concern and of a challenge, but I will see in February whether to paint it or not. So that's it with the progress of January from the academy. And now I want to recover back the goals that I set myself for 2026 and update you on how it is going. If you remember, if you've seen my videos where I talk about the goals that I set, I have 3 big goals. The first one was to consolidate my identity as artist, and for that goal I want to develop a body of 6 works of mine. In my head, by January I would have had at least the reference pictures for 1 or 2 paintings that I want to develop. However, that didn't happen. What I did in January was developing some sketches to show to the art director of our academy and have his feedback on how my project can go and so on. But since he's there once every 2 weeks, I missed the first week he was there, and the next time he's gonna be there, it's gonna be in February. So I missed that chance, but I developed the sketches. So in February, I will have his feedback, and I really want to start painting the first work. The best scenario in my head is also to finish the first work, because I want to develop 6 by June, and that means more than 1 per month. So if I don't finish that one in February, I'm gonna be super late on my timeline. And for me, it's super important to go with my timeline, to give myself deadlines and so on. So let's see how that goes. For sure, I could improve on this point, which is my biggest priority for 2026. My second goal for 2026 was to monetize my content. Of course, I mean, it's not that I will start monetizing from the first month, but in terms of the times I posted, the platforms I posted, and so on, I'm really proud of that. I could say that that goal went well. It went well because on TikTok, I posted mostly every day. On Instagram, I respected the minimum that I set myself with minimum 3 posts per week, and sometimes I went above that, so I'm really happy about that. And with YouTube, after the holidays, I posted a couple of times, but I will post even more in February. So I think I checked all the boxes that I had for my January with content creation. That makes me happy. I think I will be able to keep doing that in February, so yeah, that went well. And then finally, take care of myself. The third goal was to take care more of myself. On that side, it didn't go too well. I think that was my worst goal because I had a few pillars on that, if you remember. One was going to see doctors. I haven't seen any doctor, unfortunately. Also, regarding exercising and working out, do you remember the habit tracker that I showed you? Well, I looked at my habit tracker and I've only worked out 4 times in a whole month. That could definitely improve, and it's an area where I'm gonna work on in February. But on that side, eating healthy is something that went well because I managed to eat mostly pescatarian, because I ate meat only once per week and sometimes not even that. And also I didn't eat much refined sugar, so I'm really happy about that. So, goals for February, obviously to work on the areas that I've lagged on. Main thing, start working on a painting and finish it as well. I have one in mind. Maybe I'm gonna show you how I'm developing my personal project. Maybe I should do a video about that. What do you think? And working out. But I think that to do all these things and be productive, I need to set my own routine. So be productive in the morning in an artistic way and manage to work on my personal project. So that's the thing. I need a routine, I need to work on my personal project, and I need to focus on the elements I've been lagging on. So guys, that was a little bit an update of my January, very honest update as you've seen. I hope your January was slightly more productive or less confused than mine, because mine didn't feel unproductive, it just felt a bit confusing because I'm a very organized person. I always want to have everything under my control, so not having a routine kind of felt unorganized, so that's why. So I hope your January went well, I hope you enjoyed the video, I hope you enjoyed this little vlog. And if you liked the video, remember to subscribe to my channel, leave a like and a comment, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!